Football is here, and the Gold Sheet, the nation's oldest sports betting newsletter, is back for its 63rd year, bigger and better than ever. Gold Sheet has a new, improved web-based, mobile-friendly format that includes all of the winning information you rely on with the easiest access ever. While the format is new, all of the features you are accustomed to are still there. That's right, analysis on every pro and college game, key release selections, updated power ratings on every team, point spread logs for all NFL and college teams, and all college football games through May 2021 will be included. To celebrate joining the WagerTalk family, we are offering our subscribers our best deal ever. Sign up for a season of any Gold Sheet product and get $200 in WagerBucks as a bonus. WagerBucks can be used to purchase handicapping information from any of our 40-plus experts on WagerTalk or sportsmemo.com. Head to goldsheet.com/WagerTalk for any subscription and bonus details.
Want up-to-the-minute scores and odds direct from Las Vegas? Then check out our WagerTalk odds page. You'll get all the latest lines along with moves as they happen from all the biggest books in Las Vegas, including Westgate Superbook, Circa, Golden Nugget, Wynn, Stations, CG, and South Point, just to name a few. Best of all, it's absolutely free.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman, your host for the next 45 minutes or so, and that man, Teddy Covers, probably the best any sport game day analyst breakdown, whatever you want to be called, around, and a very close friend of mine, even though he annoys me. I want to welcome everybody into the show. Great show today. Dave Cokin, our first guest. 3 college football games, including tonight's matchup between South Alabama and Southern Mississippi. Gianni the Greek up 2. He'll take apart a couple of NBA games and the NHL game, and we'll end the show with Ralph Michaels. But first, Teddy, before we get into anything, I just want to say to you, Miami plus 5.5, your 5% play yesterday in the NBA, outright winner, an extremely exciting game, a 3-0 day for you across the board. Congratulations, man.
Thanks. I mean, I've been running pretty good for the better part of the last month, but I really thought that the markets mispriced the series between Miami and Milwaukee. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. I'm like, if you think that the full season matters, the point spread was fully warranted. But if you're just looking at everything that's happened since these teams got into the bubble in late July, there's no way Milwaukee could have been 5.5, 6 points favored over Miami. That's the way I viewed it, and luckily the clients and I were able to cash despite a pretty stressful final minute, because the one thing, they were up 6 with a minute left, and I'm like, no OT, anything but OT. I was watching with my son, Isaac. I'm like, yeah, anything but OT is fine. And then, boom, it looks like, are you effing kidding me? That was an insane
hell of a shot. Was a hell of a shot, that three-pointer to tie it up. Jimmy Butler then ends it on the free throw line. I thought that foul was probably the wrong call on Giannis. What do you think?
So if you go through the last 15 seconds of that game, all right, and let's start with this, all right, when the Heat are up 6 and Budenholzer decides not to foul and play the possession out after Giannis missed the 2 free throws, I thought that was the wrong call. But then Milwaukee hits the bucket, Jimmy Butler turns it over, and then I don't know what shot you were talking about. Chris Middleton hit the 3 free throws on the first very iffy foul call. And then obviously Butler gets the 2 free throws on the second very iffy foul call. I didn't think either one was a foul.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
I
We're
sure
on
as
the
heck
same
took
page.
the second one. The second one was real nice for my pocket because I did not want that game going into OT. But what's really interesting, Lawrence, is how the officiating in the first game definitely affected the officiating in the second game, which mattered for both side and total of the Game 7 in OKC Houston.
Yeah, and I was on the over in the OKC Houston game. I thought that was in the bag with 7 to go in the fourth. And yeah, I never learned, Teddy. None of this stuff is easy. But both games had crazy endings, which ultimately brings us to our segment, bad beats and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, Teddy, what did you see last night from a bad beat perspective, from a frustrating, annoying, pull your hair out, go gray perspective?
Well, let's put it this way. You had the over in that game between the Rockets and the Thunder. I had the under in that game between the Rockets and the Thunder, and it was dead. It was dead from the get-go. It was dead at halftime. It was dead with 4 minutes left. It was dead with 7 minutes left. And then, understand, that game was tied at 99 all with 4.5 minutes left. All right? Easily, you could get, 20, 30 points. if there's a 3-pointers and foul situation. I didn't feel good about the total then. But down the stretch, the refs in the second game, they didn't call anything, Lawrence. They literally let the physicality over the last 3 minutes of that game where players could do whatever they want and guys are falling all over the floor. Yeah, it was playoff basketball, but I really think it was the refs and Scott Foster and company giving a little reaction to what happened with the criticism of the first game. Like, all right, you don't want us to call anything? We won't call anything. And they didn't. But OKC, possession, again, they had 99 points with 4.5 minutes left. I didn't count. I think they had 14 possessions the rest of the way. I mean, it felt like an infinite number of possessions. And the only bucket they hit was Gilgeous-Alexander hitting the three-point bomb. That was it. One positive possession. And, of course, with James Harden struggling offensively, the insanity, of course, is James Harden making the play of the playoffs defensively, blocking the shot with the potential game-winning shot from a red-hot Dort, not fouling, which I still don't know how he did, and then avoiding the I'm chucking the ball at you to get it out of bounds. It was the play of the playoffs so far. It really was. And obviously, Houston moves on. They do not, however, cover the -5.5 point.
Yeah, and look, James Harden made up. James Harden made up for a bad shooting night, that's for sure. Teddy, let's get into Teddy's big game breakdown. We're going to go right to baseball. The upstart, young and fun Blue Jays against a mediocre at best Boston Red Sox team. Take that game apart for us.
Sure. And of course, we're going to start with MLB today because we have deep dives into both NBA playoff games. We're going to talk college football in depth with Dave Cokin. So I figure we'll come off the top and break down one of the baseball games. And look, my core strategy across sports, but for MLB in particular, ride the hot, fade the cold. Okay. Yeah. This is a Red Sox team that last everything that could go right for them in a sense did. JD Martinez comes back in the lineup. He hits a bomb in the first inning. They score 3. They have a 3-0 lead. They have a 5-3 lead. Doesn't matter with Boston right now. It really doesn't. Even with momentum, even with a key player back, even with an early lead, the Red Sox bullpen is a freaking disaster area. There's no way to sugarcoat it. And when you talk about a team that has now gone 9 consecutive starts without any starting pitcher finishing the 5th inning, you already know what the story is with Boston's bullpen. The Red Sox have 6 wins at home this year or 7? There's no edge at Fenway Park. None whatsoever. So for me, a priori, this game is Toronto or pass. That said, Perez, who's been dealing with, and Perez is the one guy who at times has been able to eat innings for Boston this season. He's been dealing with blister issues. He hopes he's okay today. The quotes were fine, but when your starter's dealing with blister issues and you have an enormous liability in your bullpen, very difficult for me to get to the window with that squad. The problem, of course, is this Blue Jays team, which you talk about young guns and playing good and all of that. I don't disagree. Problem is Toronto's not hitting right now. The lineup has gone cold. What do they got? 7 runs combined in the last 3 games, losing 2 out of 3. Teams like Miami and Baltimore. They didn't get the win yesterday, a game that stayed under the total. Ryu pitched very well. But if it comes to these two lineups, Boston's probably a little bit better current form with Martinez back. But when it comes to these two bullpens, there's one we trust, there's one we don't. I could only, as I said, lay a modest price with the Blue Jays in this one. That's the way I'm looking at the Blue Jays.
Teddy, I'm with you.
The Red Sox tonight on the MLB Network.
Dude, I'm with you 100% on this, but I do want to point out in regards to the Jays hitting, a lot of trouble has been going on in the Jays on the base paths. Do you know that they have been thrown out 24 times on the base paths this year, which, I mean, that's almost, that's almost one a game. I mean, that's
a ton.
The errors on the base, it's unbelievable what's going on. I mean, yesterday they had a man on first and a man on second with no out, and they did it again. I mean, I think you're looking at least one extra run a game if they could just get their act together. But love the call. I'm with you on the
Real
Jays.
Quick.
Go ahead, my friend.
You say it's unbelievable, and that's the wrong analysis. It's totally believable. There was no spring training. All right. The fundamentals aren't there this year in a way that they've been there in years past because the players didn't focus on it, didn't have time to focus on it. So you've seen repeatedly across MLB, you can't get a bunt down. They're basically giving up on bunting now. But the stuff that you work on in spring training, like base running, like hitting the cutoff man, like bunting, that when you have time to work on, it gets better. They didn't work on any of that stuff this year, and you see the mistakes still every day in MLB in that regard.
Teddy, let's get straight to the Kanye West Award. And then we're going to go for a commercial break and bring Dave Cokin on to talk college football. That's going to be awesome. He's such a legend. Teddy, who gets the Kanye West Award? And just so everybody knows, because you guys might be new to the show, it's only 2 days old. The Kanye West Award goes to the person or people who did the stupidest thing last night. Teddy?
Actually, the way we named it, the Kanye West Award for Monumental Stupidity, I believe is what we were calling it.
Right.
And I'll give that to Billy Donovan. Okay. Look at those last possessions. OKC had 2 timeouts left. At one point, they had 3 timeouts. He had timeouts to use. The players clearly didn't realize that the refs had stopped calling fouls completely. All right. They didn't set up one possession. They didn't get one good look. They had double timeouts at the end of the game to try to get a shot. They couldn't even get the pass and get the shot right. That's all on the head coach. Billy Donovan, you get the Kanye West Award today. That's all on you, brother.
He's Teddy Covers. I'm the Prez. You're watching Wager Talk Today. We're going to take a quick commercial break, everybody, and then we're right back. We're going to focus on some college football. And, man, college football begins tonight. Exciting.
If you like betting on horses, be sure to check out WagerTalk.com's own Sig, who zeroes on one racetrack at a time, offering his handicapping skills. Visit his homepage daily for his top selection in each race free. If you want all his selections for that track, you can get his full racing report for just $9.
Teddy Covers, well, let's welcome in a bunch of guys to the posting forum on YouTube. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitter, Periscope, Facebook. Excited to have everybody with us. Jared Schrader, nice to see you. Nate, Brian Watson, you're such a good dude. Frank Budd, we love you, brother. Christian Larson, nice point. I agree. The Jays just look lost on the base pass. Chance, nice to see you. He writes, Teddy, Houston looks like garbage. Let's start on that. I mean, I know we were already speaking about it, but this team is now moving on. They are all out of sync.
Again, it's not like the Thunder don't play good defense. OKC lasted as long as they did in this series and this season because they're a strong defensive squad. The Rockets have a unique offensive game plan in which basically they're not worried about having anyone in the low post. It's all drive and kick, and clear out the paint. OKC figured that out. I expect the Clippers to figure that out. That doesn't mean that Houston has no chance, but Houston's not winning that series unless the Clips melt down. But can they cover point spreads in the process? Maybe. Wouldn't be shocked if they cover, but I don't disagree with the concept. The Rockets were never legit championship contenders. They're still not legit championship contenders. And for some reason, the mainstream media seems to want to call them that because James Harden's a superstar. And everyone knows Harden and everyone knows Mike D'Antoni. So he's one of these good pub guys. But it's not really a Rockets team that I expect to give the Clippers a battle to. I don't think we see Game 7 in this.
Teddy, we're absolutely rolling right now. Everybody, I mean, you look at these numbers. Top handicappers in the last 10 days. You're number one, Teddy. Last 10 days, 7-1 across all sports. Ralph Michaels 9-4. Tony Finn 14-9. I do want to make a quick mention about myself. My baseball this season has been absolutely outstanding. I had the San Diego Padres -1.5 and the Cleveland Indians -1.5 last night. Both were winners. I'm now on a 9-2 run. I'm closing in on 65% on the baseball season. So I'm just thrilled what's happening. So guys, we've got a promo up for everybody. It's $199 for just 30 days. Normally it's $349. So it's close to half price. We've got so many guys that are rolling right now. I mean, between Teddy and Tony and Dave Cokin, Hakeem is rolling a nice, beautiful 2-0 day in NBA yesterday. Ralph Michaels with a 3-0 baseball day. Take advantage of that offer. It goes away on Sunday, and we're back at $349. Teddy, let's bring Dave Cokin in. Let's talk some college football.
I cannot hear them, by the way.
Thank you for joining the WagerTalk and Sports Memo family.
There's Dave Cokin wearing the baby blue, Teddy. Dude's a legend, man. Like Mark Lawrence yesterday. This is a guy that, we stand on this man's shoulders. I mean, Dave Cokin was doing this before you and I hit puberty.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to promote records, there's one guy's record who you absolutely have to promote, especially because he's talking college football right now. How about this for Dave Cokin? The number's pretty ridiculous. When he goes 62.5% last year and 61% the year before, and 60% the year before that. 3-year track record is 80 games over 500 out of 269 plays. 160 and 102. That would be 58 games over 500.
It's crazy to me.
262 plays.
Teddy, it's absolutely crazy. Dave Cokin.
Get $25 in WagerBucks.
160 wins.
And
102 losses since you've joined WagerTalk in college football. Welcome to WagerTalk today. It's a privilege to have you.
Thank you, sir. A pleasure to be on. It's going to be a busy day for me, too, because we got college football underway. I've got an NHL play. I've got a Major League Baseball play. I'll be posting a free play in Major League Baseball. I'll do a video that I'll do it right after this. So ready to go.
Yeah, brother. Well, we love having you, and we're absolutely tickled pink about the fact that we get to talk college football. Tonight we've got a game, South Alabama versus Southern Miss. Southern Miss, the line is holding at -13.5. We saw a fairly big move on the total overnight. It was 53.5. We now are seeing 56s. Why don't you take this game apart for us?
Well, okay, the line's holding now, but it didn't hold. Okay, this line was 15.5 earlier in the week and has gotten bet down. And that was sharp money. And there's some pretty easy reasons for that. You look at the South Alabama team, they were actually a good spread team last year. They battled hard. So even though they only won 2 games, they had a winning record ATS, which means they were exceeding expectations. The quarterback, kid named Trotter, the offense was definitely better once they got him involved in the second half of the season. Not that I think the Jaguars are going to be any good, but they're going to compete. And it's the 3rd year under this coach, and that's usually, it's a generalization, but that's generally a positive when I look at teams going into their 3rd year under a head coach. But mostly his guys now playing and the systems in place, and that's a plus. Southern Mississippi, going back to the spring, was when I did I do projections usually around Memorial Day each year, my early power ratings. And I did that this year, even though, it was kind of a convoluted situation with the shutdown in place at the time. I did like the Southern Miss team quite a bit and thought, they've got a chance to win this conference. But some things have happened since then that I think are negatives. The 2 running backs they brought in, one of whom figured to be, a star at this level, both opted out. 2 of their defensive linemen, including a first-team all-conference guy, also opted out. So, there's no way to read this because we've never had this situation before. But I look at those items as negatives to some extent. I think South Alabama is going to compete in this game. I don't think they're going to win, but I do like the Jaguars to cover the spread.
Well, Jay Hobbs' team has been explosive offensively throughout his tenure. They haven't been very good on defense, and they haven't really significantly exceeded expectations any season that he's been there. They've been good, but never great over the last 5 years, would you say?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And part of the reason for it, in my opinion, look, this is something I've been doing this for I'm in my 5th decade now of handicapping college football, and I still have a philosophy that has never changed.
Get $25 in wager bucks added to your account
And
after
that
your
is,
first purchase
and I
at
don't know why
WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com.
Minty Bets is
This
talking
is just
in my
our way of
headset,
saying
but,
thank you for joining the WagerTalk and SportsMemo family.
The running game, to me, is how you win and lose football games. The game has changed over the years, but you look at the stats year in and year out, and teams that dominate on the ground win, and teams that don't lose. And Southern Mississippi didn't run the ball well last year, and I think that caused them some problems because, look, when it comes to the 4th quarter and you're trying to put a game away, you want to be able to run the ball. Well, now Southern Mississippi's running game, which looked to be improved this year, isn't improved. In fact, it might go backwards. So I'm kind of thinking along the same lines, Teddy, is that this team might not live up to expectations. I know they're being hyped. I think Phil Steele's got them as I don't know if he's got him in his most improved list, but I think he likes the team quite a bit. We know Phil's magazine gets quite a bit of attention. I'm not as sold on Southern Miss as a lot of people might be.
And let me ask you one quick follow-up, Dave, if I could, because I think with this college football season being so unique, you talked about how the sharp money has already come in on the underdog, South Alabama. How when Prez was talking about
that's important. It's early sharp money, which really is sharp money.
But my question to you is, in a normal college football season, the first couple of weeks you want to be with that sharp money, you don't want to be against it. Is that the case this year? Is there better info out there than what we're seeing?
I think it might even be more dramatic this year, because of the fact that it's, look, it's been I will admit that it has been a massive pain in the ass doing what I usually do, because the information is just difficult to come by. But it's taken me more time, but I do think that the information I'm utilizing is probably going to be better than it's been in past years, at least at the outset. That remains to be seen. We'll find out based on the results, I guess. But that's at least my opinion going in.
Yeah, and Dave, listen, I'll tell you frankly, from my perspective, I bet all your college football plays, and I've got faith, baby. I'm going to be betting them again. Teddy, I want to throw a quick question at you on the Southern Miss game, because I know Dave is not a totals guy, but we did have one of our guys in the posting form ask, what about the over or under in this game, especially being bet up to 56? One of our guys likes the under.
So South Alabama, so it's I think side and total are at least modestly related here. I don't know that South Alabama. I mean, because South Alabama put up 4 touchdowns in this game, Dave. Can they? I don't see that. I don't know if they can stop Southern.
I'd love to see it, because if they do, I got a winner.
Sure.
Yeah.
South, I don't have a strong opinion on the total. I know that when it comes to week 1 college football this year, I'm not in any rush to bet against the quote unquote sharp money. And the sharp money clearly came in on the over today, but it's not a total that I personally have in my pocket.
And I don't do totals in college football at all. I'm a side guy. My power ratings they don't project scores, they project margins. And so I just don't pay any attention to totals. You won't hear that. You won't hear anything on totals from me all season.
Dave Cokin, let's look at a couple of games for Saturday. Middle Tennessee -3.5 versus Army. I know you don't do totals, but it's sitting at 55, 55.5. Army's the favorite. Sorry, I wrote that down wrong. Anyway, regale us with your thoughts on that game.
Going to have a massive ticket disparity in this game. Army's going to get all the public action. Okay. Which might or might not be a good thing. I think Army wins the game, but first of all, I don't like the 3.5. I'd like 3 a lot better than 3.5. And I'm not big on buying half points. It costs money, okay? -125, -130. I just don't like doing that. There are some negatives here though for Middle Tennessee. Number one, they didn't schedule this game until like August 10th. And they're facing an option team. So you have to wonder about how good their preparation has been for a unique offense that they have no experience facing. They have not faced, they haven't even faced a hybrid offense team, a hybrid option team. So that could be a problem for them. Also, Middle Tennessee, they've also got some players who they thought were going to be a part of the team that are now not a part of the team. So that's definitely an issue. The flip side of it on Army is that I think the kid Anderson is going to take over as quarterback. Look, he's typical of Army quarterbacks. He can't throw a pass to save his life. He's completely inaccurate. But I saw enough of him last year to be somewhat impressed, especially in the game against Hawaii. And I'll grant you that Hawaii's defense sucked. So maybe it was a little bit of a false read, but I thought he ran the offense really well. So I don't think there's going to be a big drop-off as far as that goes. I think Army wins the game.
$25 in WagerBucks added to your account after your first purchase at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. This is just our way of saying thank you for joining the WagerTalk and SportsMemo family.
And number 2 is I'm just not wild about playing into the same side as everybody loves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense, Teddy.
I'm sorry, Lawrence, you done?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Okay. So 2 things with that. First, do you really think there's a public issue with Army Middle Tennessee State? Like this is a huge public game on CBS. It's not like an ESPN game or an ABC game or a Fox game. Is that something you would consider as a handicapping factor for a game like this?
I don't like seeing 80% on one side. I don't mind it if it's a big spread game. If it's in the 14 range, it's like, the public's okay. But when it's a field goal margin, it's not supposed to be that lopsided. At least that's the way I've always looked at it. It's all it is. I don't use that as something to play on a game, but I'll sometimes use it as something to give me a red flag on a side that I might otherwise like.
Sure.
It is worth noting there are some added to your account after your first purchase at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. This is just our way of saying thank you for joining the WagerTalk and SportsMemo family.
That are starting to pop.
You really, and this is a motto we have in. Sorry, Dave.
There's something playing in my ear. For some reason, Minty keeps popping into my head.
Yeah, I'm getting her out too.
So
it's all good because
get her out of here. I love Minty, but I don't want her in my headset right now.
Guys, you can never have enough Minty in your life. Come on, we love Minty. Let's get to the next game, but I just want to answer a quick question. One Time Sports writes, I know all of you guys are good, but who's the best in college football? And look, I mean, Teddy will tell you the same thing I'll tell you. The guy in the blue, there's nobody better on the planet than Dave Cokin in college football. If you're going to buy anybody's college football season, Dave Cokin is the man. What Teddy and Tony Finn are to NFL, Dave is to college football. Make sure to buy his entire season. Guys, like, I cannot stress enough. Dave, it's probably the best package of any sport, of any handicapper that we have. You're better in college football than any of us are in any other sport. So there's your answer, One Time Sports. It's Dave Cokin, and just like Minty's voice, more Dave Cokin. Dave, BYU.
I just noticed there's a typo in that package that you've got up. Look, it says Dave is Rewady.
Okay.
I need to fix that. There's
okay,
no such word as Rewady.
Okay, well, I had nothing to do with that. So let's move on to the BYU Navy game. We've had a line move in the complete opposite direction, and now BYU is sitting at -1 to -1.5. Where are we going in this one?
Well, there's a big injury in this one. And Bushman, who is a future National Football League tight end, got carted off the field the other day. So I would guess he's not playing. And as soon as I saw that, the first thing that went through my mind is, this is why I know NFL, college football players can't have agents, but they can have advisors. If I were advising a high-level college football player, I would tell him, you're already on the NFL draft board. Opt out. Use the virus as an excuse, okay? It's bullshit, but use it as an excuse. And I think we're going to see more players doing this, because this guy, I don't know, I don't have the full details of the injury yet, but he might have cost himself a few $1 million. Okay, so that's just a thought on that. BYU, now I've talked about Middle Tennessee against Army, Middle Tennessee having no experience against an option offense, which I think could work against them. BYU does have experience against option offenses, so that will help them in terms of preparing for this game. Navy also loses, just an absolute dynamic option quarterback. So I think this might be a spot where BYU can get in there and maybe get a win. But here's the downside of it. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not a Satake fan. I have lambasted him for his in-game decision-making on a regular basis. I think he cost BYU at least 2 wins last year with very poor strategy. And I think he can get out-coached here by the former UNLV assistant, Coach Ken, who's a very nice guy, by the way. And that worries me. My numbers on the game are very conflicted. If I can, excuse me while I reach here. I have, I do my power ratings in a few different ways, and I'm coming up with a conflict here where I've got BYU on one set of power ratings and then another.
Right.
That I've got Navy winning the game. So I'm going to end up out of this game. I took a long look at it. My original thought was, if I can get BYU with points, I might take it, but they're not going to be the underdog in the game. And I have to see what the Bushman injury does, because I think it could impact their offense. So this is one where I'm kind of stuck.
And
Teddy,
the only thing I'm going to say about this game is that if this is the marquee game for the opening weekend of college football, it tells you a little about what the opening weekend of college football is this season. BYU Navy.
He's Teddy Covers.
The must-watch game
with us, Dave.
On Labor Day.
Sorry I interrupted there, Teddy. Dave Cokin, thank you so much for joining us today, man. We're going to have you on Wager Talk Today every single Thursday. Also, guys, you can see Dave on First Pitch, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
Our baseball show, and of course, he's on Puck Time almost every day, 11 a.m. That show's already taped.
I'll be doing a free play video one of tonight's baseball games in just a little bit. So look for that.
Perfect. Guys, let's go to a commercial break. And then Gianni the Greek, going to be a fun segment coming up.
Football is here, and the Gold Sheet, the nation's oldest sports betting newsletter, is back for its 63rd year, bigger and better than ever. Gold Sheet has a new, improved web-based, mobile-friendly format that includes all of the winning information you rely on with the easiest access ever. While the format is new, all of the features you are accustomed to are still there. That's right, analysis on every pro and college game, key release selections, updated power ratings on every team, point spread logs for all NFL and college teams, and all college football games through May 2021 will be included. To celebrate joining the WagerTalk family, we are offering our subscribers our best deal ever. Sign up for a season of any Gold Sheet product and get $200 in wager bucks as a bonus. Wager bucks can be used to purchase handicapping information from any of our 40+ experts on WagerTalk or sportsmemo.com. Head to goldsheet.com/WagerTalk for any subscription and bonus details.
Welcome back to Wager Talk Today. Teddy Covers on with me, one of the best. I'm Lawrence Presman. And Teddy, we got Gianni coming up, but first I want to talk Padres. We've got a couple of guys asking about them. Jared wants to know if the team total is going to go over 4.5. This team is just looking so good, a real front runner. Last night, a nice win as well. What do you think about this game?
So if I'm playing the Padres tonight, or I'm interested in the Padres, I'm not playing the team total over, and I'm not playing them on the run line. I'm going to lay the price with the minus 140 in that range right now. Yep. It's because there's multiple factors, but number one is we like Haney's good for their opening day starter. He wasn't particularly effective than the last time out. He probably had his best. He had his best start of the season when he goes 7.2 and threw a gem in that ballgame. I think 102 pitches, so he didn't overextend in that ballgame. And there's enough bet on in Haney that it's going to keep me off anything like a run line or a team total in this one. But that said, I don't want any part of the Angels. I mean, the Angels are a bad baseball team. And once Haney leaves the game, the bullpen's capable of doing exactly what they did yesterday, which is, turning a close game into a not so close game. That can happen on a nightly basis in LA. They have significant bullpen issues, and I don't think that's going to change. And when you're talking about a Padre, and look, the Padres are feeling good about themselves. All right. The deals they made at the trading deadline, obviously bringing in a Clevenger, is just one piece of the puzzle for them. But it's a young team playing with enthusiasm, playing with momentum. Those are streaks I'd rather ride than step in front of.
Jimmy Castellano holding a 60-1 Padres future ticket. Brother, I hope you cash that baby. Chance writes, can he use wager bucks on Sports Memo? Chance, yes, you can, but email customer support because there are some rules here and there. It's not that black and white. But yes, you can use wager bucks at Sports Memo. Love having all you guys with us. Keep hitting that like button, guys. I want to have 100 before we get off the show. Teddy, it's NBA time. Let's bring in one of the coolest dudes around, the handsome Gianni the Greek, a man that, well, we can only just learn from. Brother, how are you?
Never better. God bless America, baby. We got football coming up. We're a week away from an NFL game at night, so it doesn't get better than this. what a September we have ahead for sports bettors. And with all the attention now going to NFL and college football, rest assured we're going to be picking apart some of those smaller markets. I think that's where you'll find a lot of value.
Such a great point, Gianni. But could you also allow God to bless Canada and Wager Talk?
No problem. I was an altar boy long time. I had that skill set for sure.
Excellent stuff. Okay, brother. Well, we're doing 2 NBA games with you and 1 hockey game. And let's start with the early NBA game. Raptors, man, a short favorite at -1, a total of 215. Obviously an absolute gigantic game for really both teams. I think, Boston can really put their foot down and Toronto can get right back in the series. And if you watched that run last year, Toronto's not unfamiliar with being down 0-2. Where are you going in this one?
Well said. And listen, sometimes it's hip to be square. And we know a team up 2-0 is going to win the series. So let's end the suspense there. It's not like Boston's going to come back. Toronto's going to come back and win this series. But they are capable of winning a basketball game. And I think that basketball game is tonight. I think there's a higher probability that Boston sweeps Toronto than they do winning this game 3. Meaning if Boston wins tonight, then I think they pack it up nice and early and wrap it up in 4. But I don't think that's the case. So we may even be able to get some value on betting Boston for the series after tonight when Toronto wins this game. I bet Toronto at a pick'em. I bet Toronto at -1. Now that it's up to -2, I say bet the money line or wait till closer to game time when that Boston money, comes in. A lot will bet it on the money line rather than taking the 2 points. So you may get a good line instead of laying the 2. But I just think Toronto is much better than what we've seen. They're 8-2 their last 10 games. Those 2 losses are just to Boston. But I just don't think Boston's that much better. They outshot them. They had 90 possessions to 76. You're supposed to win that basketball game. They lost by 3. I think they bounce back and get a win here.
Let me ask you this, Gianni, because you talked about playing them on the money line, and I'm seeing now 2.5s are starting to pop up on the Raptors. The Raptors are a very clear wise guy choice today, and it's been nothing but Toronto money. I'm also seeing the public consensus sides favoring Toronto. They think that it's going to be a series here. When it comes to -2.5 in the NBA in general, I'm seeing the money lines in that -130 to -140 range, depending on the shop. In general, the NBA, when you're laying the short chalk, would you rather lay $135 or $140, or would you rather lay the points? Or do you think that this game has the potential, even with Toronto, all that, it might be a 1 or 2 point game. It's a 1 possession game at the end. And if it is, there's a little bit more risk with the money line.
When it gets to that 2 point range, I go money line, especially in the NBA. A lot of times you're not paying that price, that 10 cents for every half point when you chop it down to what the money line is. Meaning if it's 2.5, and if you want to take it down to 2, it's going to cost you -120 anyway. So laying that extra 10 or 15 cents to bring it all the way down to a pick'em, where I get it, you're not gaining any points for that 0, but it's still not costing you the same amount per half point. I think it's the way to go. Long term, over 1,000 bets, does it save you a penny on a dollar? I'm not sure, but I've just gotten into the habit of doing that when it's a line below that 3, when it's 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and it served me well. So I just try to keep it easy, like hedging and things like that. I try to set my rules beforehand and stick to them, and that makes it easy, kind of like bet sizing. I never change that up, so that eliminates that part of the equation for me. I just try to keep it simple.
Gianni, just so awesome having you on. The NBA second game, game 1 in the Clippers and Nuggets series. And, just looking at it generally, I don't think the Nuggets are getting much respect here. -8. Obviously, we have a big total. This Denver team can shoot the lights out. Where are you going in this game?
Yeah, I bet this game already. I bet the Clippers in the first half. As soon as this line came out, we laid -4.5, laid -5 on the Clippers. Another sounding square type of play. Denver coming off that tough series. you expect a little bit of adrenaline dump. So at least in the first half, it seems like the Clippers should be able to come out and establish themselves. I don't know if I agree with the 9 being that high for game one. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with that as the money starts rolling in. I also could tell you with certainty there's a sharp money coming in on the over. If you agree with that side, you may want to get down on it because from what I see at the window, it looks like 8 out of 10 tickets are going to be written on that over anyway. So if you got sharps and the public on the over, you don't want to wait too long for that. But like I said, I laid the points in the first half, and I can tell you this, a really strong prop. There's a group that's been killing props. I haven't been able to share a lot of them because they come late, but they are blasting this under in Jamal Murray's points. I know he lit it up over that 3-game span for 50, 40, 50. And I think this may be a play towards that regression, coupled with he's not 100%. But that's a very strong steam play from a group that's been killing these props on that under.
And it's surely worth noting, when you talk about where the sharp actions come on this game, this game opened 7.5, 8. Now it's pretty much 9s across the boards. That's not square money. That's the pros loading up on the Clips. And of course, with that 13-1 to the over run that Denver had prior to the game 7 that stayed under by 70 points or whatever it was, I'm not surprised that there's still over interest in the markets against a Clips team that in theory, well, not in theory, in practice, if you watch the matchups between the Clippers and the Nuggets this year, LA has gotten their share of good looks, and they've averaged, 125, 130 points in their meetings against Denver so far this season.
Yeah, Gianni, I love that under on the Murray prop. I mean, you got to mention the fact that he's going to be playing against Kawhi too, and this whole Clipper team can defend. So yeah, that makes total sense to me. We got a couple of minutes left. I want to talk hockey. You have had an incredible hockey playoffs. I've been following you. Philadelphia tonight, New York Islanders, a crucial game for Philly. Have you guys watched Puck Time earlier? Carmine and I both like the Islanders in this spot. We also like the under in the spot, Gianni. But I did tell everybody on that show 2 days ago, and again, if it goes into the third period, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, bet the in-game over because we're going to see a pulled goalie for a long time. Talk to me, brother.
That makes sense. And listen, I understand why you're on the Islanders side. They have looked like the better team. Just watching these games, they look like they're just so much faster. They seem to be able to get out ahead of the Flyers on offense and defense. But the Flyers continue to hang around. And the Islanders didn't put them away when they had the chance. And the Flyers winning that game in overtime, I think that momentum carries over. I think this is a good spot for the Flyers tonight, kind of like a free roll. Again, they are not supposed to still be standing. After seeing the first few games, it looked like the Islanders should coast, but now there's new life there. And you know the history with these two teams. I just don't think the Flyers are going to quit now. I think, again, the Islanders had them in that last game. They should have nailed it shut. Now that they didn't and that door's open, I would not be surprised to see the Flyers come back and win this series, even though the Islanders appear to be the better team. So I like the Flyers tonight to extend this series. We'll see how that turns out. I know you've been doing good in hockey, so I don't like going against you. Just found that out now. Hopefully one of us cashes a ticket and it doesn't just keep playing a 28-hour push.
Yeah, I guarantee you one of us will cash a ticket. Brother, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to join Teddy and I to show that old men can have brown hair still. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Gianni. Teddy Covers with us. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're right back with Ralph Michaels. Thank you guys for staying with us.
September 2020 is a historic month. We have baseball, soccer, hockey, horse racing, basketball, and now football. For the first time ever, every major sport is being played at once. This week only, we're giving you 30 days of all access with your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for just $199. The normal price there, $349. So what do you get with the WagerTalk 30-day all access for less than $7 a day? You get every play released from your favorite capper. No coupon needed, just $199 each. And this offer is valid through midnight Saturday.
We're back, Teddy. Ralph is coming on. I just want to make mention of the lineup today. WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel. We're producing content all day long. 11 a.m. was puck time. It's up now. At 1 o'clock, Carmine Bianco will be hosting the stoppage time focused on English Premier Soccer. Drew Martin and Matt Joseph will be handling college football at 2 o'clock. We've got First Pitch, and at 3 o'clock, our NBA show. So, guys, check that all out. And, of course, Bet On It was done last night. It's up at our channel. I want to quickly mention our promotion again, $199 for anybody, 1 month of all their plays. It's regularly $349. Head over to WagerTalk, grab that. And Tony Finn is the $11 handicapper today over at WagerTalk. So check that out. Let's get the big man in, dude. Ralph.
Hey guys, how are you?
Dude, I got to tell you, we've only got about 6-7 minutes to go. We ran a little late today. I mean, dude, we had, Gianni and Dave, I'm not cutting them off, man. Those guys, all we can do is learn. Thanks for coming, brother. And just, you know what, Ralph? Take it away.
All right, Prez, first comment on using WagerBucks at Sports Memo or WagerTalk. WagerBucks good for any single player package, any 3-day package, or any 7-day package. So basically, WagerBucks available for anything under $119 at both sites. Now, the business is out of the way. First comment before we get to the angle of the day. Gianni talked about teams up 0-2 in the NBA playoffs. While I was waiting, I went to my database. Since 2003, if a favorite lost game 1 and a favorite lost game 2, and they're a favorite in game 3 like Toronto is, 43-23, 63.3% in game number 3. So that's taking care of business from previous. Angle of the day. It's not a wow angle, but I needed to talk some college football. I'm so excited about the season kicking off tonight. BYU 0-7 ATS, their last 7 as a favorite. Navy 6-1 ATS, their last 7 at home. Remember, Navy doesn't get many home games. They're truly excited to have this standalone national TV game. So, we'll see how many fans they're going to let in. They talked about letting the cadets in, or not the cadets. That would be Army, of course, but letting the Navy personnel in. Thank you. Situational play of the day worked out yesterday with Toronto. We're going to look at the White Sox. This could have clearly been the angle of the day. White Sox now 11 straight wins. They're 11-0 versus lefties this year, and it makes total sense. Their slugging percentage against lefties, .561. Clearly the number 1 team in baseball. White Sox batting .261, .262 the last 10 days versus KC batting .210. The Chicago White Sox 12-1 as an away favorite, and the White Sox versus losing opponents 12-4 compared to a negative record of 11-10 versus win percentages of 50% or better. And putting you guys on the spot, the WagerTalk Did You Know? This is something that I learned from, and someone reached out to me on Twitter at CalSportsLV and asked me what happens in this situation. So we have a college team that was on the road they're on the road this week. And last week they trailed by 14 points at halftime and came back for the win. What do they do on the road that week? 66% against the spread, 50% or 34% against the spread. So last week, again, trailed at halftime by 14, had a big second half, won the game. This week they're on the road. President Teddy, your guesses.
Teddy?
So I really had no idea what to guess. I'm assuming it's not going to be 50-50, but to tell you, like, which would it be, the 34 or the 66? I mean, it was a coin flip for me. Did you have a take, Press? Because I really didn't. I had no idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to guess here, Teddy. I mean, it's just not something I keep track of. So if I had to guess, I'm going with A. I'm going with A, 66%.
Teddy, I was with you.
You're saying the momentum carries forward because you're saying this is a team that rallied from behind, and now you're saying if they're good the next game, that momentum carries forward on the road. Let's see if that's true.
Absolutely, and it makes logical sense, but I could be wrong.
Prez, you are right, but Teddy, I actually thought the negative, and that is something we've got to learn as handicappers. Don't fall into these preconceived notions. Double-digit favorites are bad. Oh, a team has revenge, so they're going to win. Oh, a team has double revenge. Make sure you find out the numbers before you want to bet them. Those teams that came back from that 14-point deficit and on the road this week, 40-21, 66% against the spread. So one of those numbers that surprised me, but it's going to help our viewers become better bettors so they know what happens in those type of situations.
So momentum matters. And, of course, Ralph, I asked you to run a number as well to talk about the Army-Middle Tennessee game, just because we know that Army has a terrible track record as home chalk. It wasn't as bad as I thought. It was only 3-11 ATS against FBS teams since 2015. I thought it might have been worse than that.
Yeah, what we did learn, Teddy, when you asked me that was Army as a home favorite since 2015 is actually 9-15. But what they did do is they went 6-4 against FCS foes. So they are now learning in their progression the last few years to take care of business as a favorite. And that usually is a multi-season progression from learning how to win to learning how to win as a favorite, then to learning how to cover as a favorite when you are a very poor team, becoming a mediocre and then a bowl caliber team.
Ralph, dude, thanks so much for doing this. You're on every day with us. It was a short segment today. Guys, tomorrow's show, Rob Vino with us. Teddy, we've got a bookmaker. You want to quickly tell us about that?
Tomorrow we have Kenny White, legendary college football handicapper and bookmaker.
Yeah, that's going to be a great show.
Because we got about 2 seconds. Go, Laura.
Yeah, and Ralph is on tomorrow as well. Guys, smash that like button. I want to see over 100 likes, please. That would be so greatly appreciated. All of you guys who stuck with us for the hour, thank you so much. We love having you. We love doing this show. Make sure to stay with us. We've got either soccer with Carmine or the Drew and Matt handling of the college football show. It's been nothing but a pleasure. Teddy, Ralph, our producer, Joe, thank you for everything. We're out.
September 2020 is a historic month. We have baseball, soccer, hockey, horse racing, basketball, and now football. For the first time ever, every major sport is being played at once. This week only, we're giving you 30 days of all access with your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for just $199. The normal price there, $349. So what do you get with the WagerTalk 30-day all access for less than $7 a day? You get every play released from your favorite capper. No coupon needed, just $199 each. And this offer is valid through midnight Saturday.